Hello, and thank you guys for tuning in. Today we're going to be covering the tier list of the 3.4, all the Electro characters that are currently out right now. So without further ado, let's get started. To start off, we have Beidou. I think Beidou is a really strong character. I think she's got some really cool abilities. She can, I think she plays the role of sub DPS, like a support DPS extremely well. Her ult gives like it's like an electro shield that does like electro damage, and it's a shield that protects you. So and on top of that, she has a counter for her elemental skill with a pretty low cooldown. You can, I think it's like 8-9 seconds. Like you can get it out there pretty fast every so often, and it's a counter, and it can crit and everything, and it does like crazy damage if you time it right and everything. So, and she's a claymore character, so she has like strong like normal attacks. So she's like sub DPS. I said like she can do that really well. She can give electro applications with her ult for your like cryo physical DPS character or whatever else you're trying to go through. If you're trying to do like electro charged or something with like the like water, like you can play like her and Mona, and it's like a really fun like her normal attacks will just, if you do Mona's normal attacks while Beidou's shield is up, like every attack is just gonna be like electro charge. It's really cool. But yeah, she's a really solid character, really fun to play too. She's not too crazy to like build or anything. She's really like solid character, especially for early game. Like really extremely good early game. I got her like low AR numbers, and I've been using her ever since, and she's just been getting better and better as I like tweak her and everything. Definitely highly recommend, especially for newer players. Next up is Sino. Sino, he's like extremely strong, extremely fast, extremely cool. He just was one downside, and you almost have to play him with like a shield character. As I was like using him, he really he really needs to like get his attacks out and like spam them at the right time and everything, and he can get interrupted so like easily that like if you don't play him with a shield character, you don't get to fully utilize his ult and like the timings of like the little like skill and everything. It's a little tricky, but other than that, he has like really good damage. He has like really good crowd control. He's really strong, really simple. He's really fun to play. He's another character with like funny voice lines. Like he has like a very like dead voice, but he says like very like his like your judgment is due and stuff like that. But he's like very like monotone. It's really fun to play him just because he's so like ridiculous. Next up, we have Dory. Dory's like horrendous, like absolutely terrible. And I have a built Dory because I like her character, I like her design and everything. Her lore is pretty good, but gameplay, she's absolutely horrendous. She is an electro healer with very little like electro applications. Like I think I have her like C1 or 2. Maybe she gets better if you have like the full like C6 array, but like as a healer, she's not like a crazy good healer, and you need one of her constellations. Like her ult is what heals you, and you need one of her constellations for it to actually do damage to enemies too. So it's like you have to get constellations for her to be a little bit more useful, but it's like not worth it. And her skill, I don't even remember what her skill is, but I remember it's not that good either. Like she just doesn't do enough. She's like really cool in appearance, and that's it. Like she does nothing else. Like little slime, like little genie slime, like her sitting on it and like spinning and whatever. It's like really cool, but she does nothing. It's a little horrendous to say. Moving on, we have Fischl. Had this been like 3 months after the game came out, Fischl would be like S tier. But she's been power crept throughout the game. She's still a really good, solid character, but there's just better options. There's better characters you could build. She's still like really fun, easy, and so it's like at this point in the game, like you've got her C6. Like these like beginning characters, Beidou, Fischl, even like Razor, maybe even like a couple constellations into Lisa. like you've got them like C6. Like they've just been out for so long, and you've probably been playing for so long that you just have it. But her main thing is that she spams, like she attacks really fast and really strong with her normal attack, and does a good amount of physical damage. And on top of that, Oz like does like a pretty good amount of damage too. But there's just characters who do what she does but better. And like no like I remember you used to see so many Fischls like in co-op and everything. But like now it's like you don't see anyone play Fischl. Like they've spent like months like building her just to like put her on the shelf. It's a little sad. But she's a really good character still. Moving on, we have Keqing. I think Keqing, I think she's like really good. I don't think she's quite S tier because like you have to put so much into building her and so much into getting like the perfect artifacts and the right weapon and everything. It's a little tricky to build like a really good Keqing because there's so many like ways to build her. It's so hard to like really like find like oh, what is the best build? It's this weapon with this artifact set with this and this and this, and you gotta focus on this, like, or electro build or like physical DPS build. Like just so many ways of building her. She is a really good character, but she's just a little tricky, and she's a standard banner character. I mean, technically she did have that one time where she was a limited time banner character, which was weird, but she's still a solid character, don't get me wrong, but she's just not. I feel like she's a 5-star character for a little bit of no reason. I think she should have been a 4-star character. Moving on, we have Lisa. I really like Lisa, and I really like the new skin she got and everything with the Sumer outfit, but I should probably C tier. She's like, I do have her like built and I play her every so often, but she is not that good. She like if you have her C6 and you have like some really like strong build, like yeah, she can be really fun because that's what I have. Like her C6, when she comes out to the field, when you switch to her, she like everyone within like a short little radius, she sends out this little electric like pulse kind of thing, and the enemies who get caught in it, they have a counter that's instantly gone to 3, and when you hold down her skill, it does like extra damage based on the number of the counter, and the like, you know, and the max stacks are like 3 and like, you know, minimum 1, and her skill can hit like within a pretty wide range, so you can hit every enemy within a pretty wide range for like 40, 50,000. Like I've hit some like cool numbers on like a bunch of enemies, not just like 1 or 2. Like she can really do some damage, but like I had to get her C6, which took literally years to get her C6. And on top of that, I've had to like tweak her build and like have like go through like weird phases of like strange weapons and like not really knowing fully like what I was doing. But after like so long, like it's finally paid off, and like she is like really fun for like crowd control. But you know, because you have to hold down her skill for like kind of like a long time, you do need some kind of like shield, or like really a shield. Even if you had like Baron Bunny or something to like distract enemies, like they could still attack her and like everything would go wrong. But even so, like even with like her ult being like pretty good, like electro support, like it's got a pretty short range, and there's just like I think instead of using like her ult, I think Fischl's like skill of like sending out Oz would be better, or like Beidou's like ult. Like there's like better like electro applications you could use. Moving on, we have the Raiden Shogun. You know, glory to the Shogun. You know, she's definitely the best electro character. She's the electro archon, so I'd hope that'd be the case. You know, with all the archons. But she does insane damage. She outclasses everyone in terms of support and DPS. Like her elemental skill, like every hit, like any character does, it does like a little bit of like electro damage and causes reactions and everything. Like it's just absolutely insane. Like there is like it lasts for so long, and it's like every hit within like probably like milliseconds of each other, but it's like basically like every hit, and it does a pretty decent amount of damage. And her ult, her burst, it like it gets charges with how many other characters' ults you use, and it just does like insane damage. Like if you have like one like a Raiden Shogun that's well built, and like a team that's like built around her, like Mona, Bennett, and like some like swirl person like Kazuha or Tsukos or something, like she'll just hit like insane numbers. But even if you don't have her, if you don't have the whole team built around her, she'll do like I had a pretty like sloppy build of her at first, and I didn't like run her on like a proper team, and she would hit like 100 something thousand, just like with no setup or anything. And then like I properly built her and everything, and like got better artifacts. I'm still trying to get like more and like better and better and better, because I actually have her C6, and but she just hits crazier and crazier numbers, like everything she does, like. And when you have like constellation like 4 or something, when her ult runs out, she gives the whole party like an attack buff. Like she's just wild. And she like lowers cooldowns on elemental burst when you have her C6. Like her skill just makes her like the best support, and her ult makes her like the best DPS. Like it's insane, like the numbers she can hit. Even if you have her like C0 like with the catch, still really good. Moving on, we have Razor. Razor's another pretty good DPS. I think he's around A tier with Beidou. Nah, I think he's actually B tier. Razor's like main catches are that he's really, really fast. He can swing his claymore with like extreme speeds. It's pretty wild. Like I played Beidou for like months, and then I tried out Razor for like 10 minutes, and I was like, bro, this attack speed is like insane. And on top of that, he can hit really good numbers on physical attacks. He has a pretty good skill. It's good for like crowd control and everything. And his burst is like, it's pretty cool. He summons like this like wolf. It's like kind of like a stand from JoJo, and it's just like when he swings his claymore, the wolf's he's like made of electro, and he like swipes too. It's pretty cool. However, he's a very selfish character. You have to build a team around him, because when he switches, like the wolf just leaves. So you have to build around him, and with the whole like team focused on him, you're probably gonna have to do superconduct team or some like electro crazy team. Mainly superconduct, because he does the best in physical damage, but there's just not much variety you can do with him. I think that's what makes him like kind of like lack a little bit. Like you kind of have to go for the superconduct physical damage, like crazy numbers, and like there's not really too much. You can't have like a support Razor. Like you can't like go out of your way and try and do something like too cool. Like you can probably do like overcharged, like electro charge or something, but I don't know. I don't know if that'll work that well. But he is still a pretty decent character, pretty solid for the early game. If you've recently got into Genshin Impact, it's a pretty good early game. Like he just like plows through everything, like speed and strength. Moving on, we have Kujou Sara. Kujou Sara is a very, very good support character. But you need C6. I just remember that. So I think she's A tier. I think right under Keqing. But I think she's still better than Beidou, because her C6 increases crit damage of, like when you use her skill, it increases crit damage of electro characters for like one attack or one instance. So you like use their burst and then hit like a crazy number and just keep going. And on top of that, her ult is actually really cool. Like it's like Like, I've never seen anyone like talk about how cool her ult is. Like she like yells like glory to the Shogun. Her like wing pops out and like she does like one like lightning bolt and it like spreads to like multiple and it's like it decimates like giant enemies and like crowds of like random little enemies. Like it's such a good ult and it does like such a good amount of damage. Like I think I built her with like even though she's support, I built her with like the stringless or something and like I think I have like element like 2-piece thunder set and like 2-piece noblesse and she just like rips through like crowds and like big enemies like bosses and stuff like that because it hits them like multiple times and everything. She's just extremely fun to play, really good to play with Raiden Shogun, which you know lore wise I would hope so. Like I think every time there's like a Shogun banner, I think she's also on it because like you know simp. But yeah, she complements her extremely well, making her burst, like the initial hit of her burst, do like crazy damage because you're increasing electro damage. She does what she does really well. I think she was the first of like 2 or 3 characters that like supported like specific types. Like there's her, Garo, and I think Toma. And yeah, they really good character. Next up is Shinobu. Had this been pre-Sumeru, she would have been like down here. But this is not pre-Sumeru. This is with Sumeru, with Dandro and everything. And Shinobu got like skyrocketed in usefulness. I think she's an A tier character. When you get a couple, so to start off, she's a healer, but she has her skill summons this like ring around you. I think it's like Naku weeds or something, but it summons this ring around you, and every like few ticks it'll do some damage and to like nearby enemies that it hits, and it'll heal you for like a percentage of like your HP or whatever. So you build it for HP and then like it does like really good healing. And unlike most healers, it actually has like a pretty good cooldown to where you can have it out for a good amount of time. The downside is that it sacrifices some of her HP, but it heals more than it loses, if that makes sense. Like these aren't the exact numbers, but if you sacrifice like 5,000 HP, she heals like 7,000. When you like include all the ticks and everything. So she sacrifices her HP, but she'll never kill herself like Hu Tao. And I don't think Xiao will kill himself either. But that's irrelevant. But she's not gonna be on the field long enough for that to really matter. She's gonna like put down the little grass crest thing and then switch out and it's just like whatever. And so like you just have infinite heals for a pretty decent amount of time and for a pretty decent amount of ticks if you have like her built for HP and stuff like that. And what makes that really good is that it's really like useful for electro applications because it's so often the ticks are so quick. So like if you have like a Dendro team, if you have like any kind of like electro support based team, like she fits in extremely well. She heals you and she applies electro. And what's really useful in Dendro teams is that little like bloom things, those little like seeds, whatever, when like water and Dendro hit, and when they explode, they do a little bit of damage to you. So if you don't have Kokomi and you rearrange the team a bit, you can play Shinobu, and she does like pretty well, maybe even better in some cases. I like Shinobu a lot better than Kokomi because her healing just lasts for so long. So cool, so useful. And when you get like a later I don't remember which number constellation, but one of them increases the amount of time that her ring, her grass crest ring or whatever is out for, and it ends up her skill ends up out like it ends up lasting for so long that it's like the cooldown is done, but the ring is still up, so you're constantly always gonna have it up, which is like her constellations are like pretty wild. Like one of them like increases the range of her ult, but her ult's kind of just okay. And her last one, like if she would like take a hit that would be fatal, she would like live through it or something. Like it's like wild. Like her constellations are so good. Like she gets like better and better the more of her. Like a lot of characters, like yeah, like every character gets better the more constellations you have, other than C6 Bennett. But like some characters have like better constellations than others, and hers are like perfect for her. Moving on, next we have the Electro Traveler. Um, I think this is actually like the second best Traveler. I think the best is Dendro, and I think then is like Electro, and then like maybe Geo, and then Animo. I don't know, but they're all pretty like garbage. Like you wouldn't really play them. Like no one ever really does. Like there's just so many better options. Like you got Lisa for free. Lisa's better. If you were playing for a long time, Fischl was free at one point, and like you could like get Beidou for free from like Lantern, right? Like there's so many better options that you have probably come across. Like she like Electro Traveler just doesn't do enough. Like in terms of anything, and they're always tricky to build because you have to get like every book, and it's such like a like I have the Traveler at like level 90, but I don't have the talents maxed out for like all of the versions because it's just very tricky. Like you have to like spend like a Sunday or Saturday, whichever day has like all the books, and then you have to like grind like every single book for every like literally every book because it changes like every like level. It's such a strange like thing that they did with the Traveler because it just makes them so tricky to use. Like the Traveler should have been like the easiest to level up because you're always gonna have them, and they could be like some decent versions. So it's like it's tricky to build, and it's just the payoff isn't there. So I think low C tier. And finally, last certainly not least, is everyone's favorite Kitsune, Yae Miko. I think Yae Miko is I think she's a definite S tier Electro character. She's like she's weird. She's like a support but a DPS as well. Her main gimmick is that she has 3 uses of her elemental skill, and they each summon like a little like pillar kind of thing. That's Electro, and they can connect and they can not connect. I think it's better if they connect. I don't remember. Like you just spam it 3 times, and then it was like summon like little like lightning bolts. Those lightning bolts will like hit enemies like based off of like HP, like whoever has like the most or the least. I don't know which one it does. It just hits enemies as far as I know. And her ult is very strong. That's like her skill is good for like support. You know, you get like electro applications or whatever. Like I play her with like Eula and the Spiral Abyss. It works out pretty well. And but her ult is where her damage comes in, just like the Raiden Shogun. So she's a cool little cutscenes, like her and like this Electro like fox, because her whole thing is like these like Electro foxes running around with her, and it hits as like a giant lightning bolt, just like Kujou Sara's, which was very lazy in my opinion. Having the 2 closest people to the Shogun have like lightning based stuff, like they could have switched up a little bit with Miko, but oh well, what's done is done. But yeah, she has like the 1 giant lightning bolt, but if you have her elemental skill out, like all 3 of the pillars, it'll hit an additional time for each of those, and they each hit for like a lot of damage. So her ult in like 4 hits can rack up a lot of damage, and it just makes it like and then as soon as you use her ult, her all 3 charges for her burst, for her skill, are replenished. So you can throw down all 3, let them build up a little bit, let them help build up your energy recharge, and then once it's back, then you use her ult. Or if it took like a long time and like the things are running out or whatever, you can reset them, because they have a really short cooldown anyway, of like a couple of seconds, like 2-3 seconds. So you can set them all up, each 2-3 seconds like each. And so you set all 3 of them up, pop her ult, and then you drop all 3, and then like all the lightning bolts hit. And if the enemy still lived somehow, then you just reset. You just put the 3 back down, switch to like someone else, and just get to work. Like she's a moderately fun character when you use her ult, but like she has like the same voice lines, so you hear it like every time because you use her skill 3 times at a time. So it's like right here, right now, right here, and it's like it gets very annoying. Like she needs like 8 like voice lines for her elemental skill because she just has like she just uses it so many times that it gets very tedious and annoying. Her gameplay is like sadly not as interesting as her as a character, but she is really strong as a support and a DPS at the same time. So we gotta give her credit there. Yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about this tier list of the Electro characters, and leave any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that down below. And thank you guys for watching. Check out some of my other videos. There'll probably be some come up on screen right now, so check it out. Take care.